Now, it's more limited in terms of hygiene. Hygienists can be cross-trained in other areas when needed. But of course, only a hygienist can actually provide the hygiene services, of course. However, one of the things we like to do is cross-train all of our team members to be able to do perio charting for the hygienist, to be able to do, again, with training, any of our team members can do perio charting. That way, we're always going to be able to get our correct perio charting requirements with the patient. And again, this helps us kind of identify the bottlenecks during the day and effectively work our way through the bottlenecks and end up having a more productive, more enjoyable day, better experience for the patient, less waiting, more timely, a better experience for the patient. There's all kinds of benefits to cross-training, not the least of which is I believe it creates a more engaged team member, team members, thriving team members appreciate learning new skills. They see it as more fulfilling. And as you mentioned in the opening, Naren, their days are more interesting because they're not painted into a narrow corner of this is the only thing they do. They end up having a much more varied and diverse work day, which for many people, that is more satisfying to them. It results in better retention, better long time, retaining team members, happier team members. You're engaging their mind, their spirit, and overall, it's a great benefit. Not the least of which is allows the practice to be more productive. For example, when I'm working with my clients to look for opportunities to add more same-day dentistry, the more cross-trained our team members are, the better results we get at being able to add in same-day dentistry. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it, Naren?
100%, Gary. I think one of the things I have learned watching you over the years is, I'll use your daughter, right, who works for Life Smiles, right? She can do lots of things. She works with us on marketing. She's an amazing patient advocate. She's a great leader.
Yeah, technically, Madi does 3 roles in the practice. Madi is my oldest daughter. She ran my consulting firm, just for our listeners' benefit. She ran my consulting firm for 15 years. She's ASU, Arizona State University graduate, dual degreed, very, very bright. I'm biased, but I think you'd find what I said to be true.
I agree.
She's Dr. Tim. So a number of years ago, she came to me and said, "Dad, I'm loving working in dentistry, but I think I'd like to work in an office." I'm like, "Well, we have one. How about ours?" So I hope you're going to say that. So she became Dr. Tim's scheduling coordinator. She became one of our new patient coordinators, one of 2, and she became our marketing coordinator. She's the one that interfaces with Equa, but she is an example of someone who's cross-trained. Now, let me get very specific. I'm glad you brought her up because Madi and Carly are our new patient coordinators, and we see 3 new patients a day per doc, 3 new patients a day. That represents 30 minutes per new patient of doctor time. So that represents an hour and a half of doctor time each day. But Madi and Carly are also our new patient coordinators. They do the entire first hour. They do the first 30 minutes of the new patient appointment by themselves. And in the first 30 minutes, they take the patient on a tour. They, secondly, they do a quick interview in the consult room. That's where we learn the patient's dental story. 7 questions. Then we take the 6 digital photos for patient education, and then she takes whatever records we're going to take. They might be bite wings, they might be full mouth series, they might be digital panoramic X-ray, and there might be a CBCT. They take those. And then they're now going to meet the doctor, and they're going to be in the new patient treatment room. And Madi will stay in the room as the examining assistant. Now, she's not passing instruments like that kind of an assistant, but she's at the 12 o'clock position doing data entry as doctor is, calling out the existing condition of the patient's mouth. And the reason she stays in the room, Naren, is because she has the connection with the patient. She spent the first half hour there. She's connected to the patient. After that doctor part of the new patient appointment, she escorts the patient down the hall to the hygiene room, introduces the patient to the hygienist, and then she will end up finishing the appointment at the end to review financial arrangements and scheduling with that new patient. So that's kind of how that works. But remember that she's also Dr. Tim's scheduling coordinator. So 3 hours a day, she is engaged in patient-facing activity. She's not at the desk. And in order to not leave her team members overwhelmed, when she leaves the desk to be with a new patient, she goes to the back office and gets an extra assistant to cover her at the front desk and do those 5 tasks that I said an assistant should be able to do. Check people in, check them out, have a handle over the counter payment for today's patients, make financial arrangements for everyday general dentistry, and answer the phone for potential new patients. Because if she didn't have that person filling in the spot, the other 2 at the front desk would be overwhelmed based on the volume of activity that occurs. Naren, does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I think, I mean, I know Marty, and she's full of life, and she's a mom. She has 2 kids. This is not just a job. She comes in and, like, you know, punches the clock. She enjoys it because she's doing a set of different roles, and she's changing people's lives. She's making a difference in the practice. She's so important for the doctor who, you know, whose schedule she's responsible for. I mean, she has purpose. She has meaning. And it's fun, right? I mean, like, a lot of people, I think, are not there just for a paycheck, not there, you know, just for that. They want a reason to wake up in the morning and jump out of bed and do what they're
I think Marty would honestly tell you that one of the things she loves about her job is she gets the opportunity to change people's lives every day.
Exactly.
She gets the opportunity to do that.
Right.
And I think she would accurately report that as true.